Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I wasn't able to get my oatmeal. Luckily enough, I hadn't completely run out, but I don't know what's been going on over at the Target on Sunset, but they've been scarce on oatmeal supply, like extremely scarce. It's the second or third time that I went there in the last year. And then you have it, or they had like one or two left. So I just got to stop thinking that I can get it there. I haven't seen that problem anywhere else but that particular Target. And of course they have the smaller Targets that don't carry it at all, so that doesn't help. It's like several of those that I know of, but you can't get them there. So yeah, man, I gotta get them local. I'll probably just grab them tomorrow. I don't particularly feel like stopping anywhere else, but I was able to get other things that I need, so I'm pretty loaded up with a heavy backpack. Did my little hill climbing thing. The glute injury didn't seem to do too much to me. It was a little bit of a pull, but nothing that I couldn't be comfortable with for the most part. So it's healing, I guess. And I think this probably helps on. I hope I did. But yeah, man, just living this LA life, man. I tell you, watching that Iran video last night, as I was telling you, I watched like an hour-long video of different sites that they have there, and just a whole rundown of the different wonders of that country. I just realized that America ain't all that. LA, I'm from LA. It's a sightseeing place too. People come from all over the world to come here, including a lot of Iranian people. But I don't know, man. I love living here. The weather is perfect as it's going to get anywhere in the world here. But I'm tired of the energy here, honestly. I'm tired of it. It's not like there's not great people here or whatever, but you just get to a point where it's like, man, I just imagine there's a place in the world where people don't look at you crazy just because you're a stranger. Here, that's what you get, especially if you're a black, bald-headed stranger. It's not a warm place. It really ain't. It's not a warm place. Never has been. It's one of the reasons why I was cultivated as an introvert here. I don't know if I would have been an introvert in other places that are a bit warmer. Just don't find warm energy too often around this place. You really don't. Not in the city. But you know, what do I expect? This is the belly of the beast, man. The more I learn about what has been done to our brains, it's no wonder I feel as if I'm looked at as if I'm strange, because technically I am strange. I'm very different. I'm awake. A lot of these people are not. A lot of people are very asleep, very selfish, and very American doctrine, which means money first, people somewhere in the back end of that somewhere. Humanity somewhere in the back end of that. Behave. All that. Be mad at black people if you're black. Don't trust everybody else. You know, Americans garbage. American mentality garbage. It's trash, man. But anyway, that's just what it is. But as far as how I feel right now, I feel pretty good. Got what I needed done, and ready to get back to the hotel and enjoy the rest of my evening. No Laker game tonight, so I imagine I'll be watching some highlights, preparing for the future Laker games that are coming up, as I always do. And maybe do my Hunter's Blue workout for the first time in about a week tonight. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get in there. And just enjoy this walk right here. It's pretty nice weather. It's going to get hot later on this week. When it's time for me to leave out of that dang room, it's going to be freaking 96 degrees for like 3 days. We're going to get a heat wave. I don't know. Valley weather, man. But that's what's up with me, man. It's just kind of disappointed I wasn't able to get everything I needed, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm hearing that Benjamin Netanyahu's brother may have been killed in an airstrike on Benjamin's home. Benjamin wasn't home, but his brother was, so that's how that went. And then from what I understand, they may have got the Ben Giver dude too. He ain't dead, but they said he's critically injured. Itamar Ben Giver, Big Gavar, whatever, that evil Iraqi dude that is at the top of Israeli politics. after being pretty much a damn terrorist entire life. Yeah. Apparently Iran targeted his home, got his evil ass. Ain't too many people I wish death on, but if there was a human being that I would, it's him. Just being completely honest with you. If ever there was a person I would be pretty pleased to see no longer with us, it'd be Itamar Ben-Gvir. I'm just being completely and utterly honest with you. It's a few of them names top of that Israeli parliament that I'm aware of, but none of them worse than him. None of them quite as wicked and as evil as him. And what makes him especially easy to despise is that he's Iraqi. He ain't European. That dude is brown as the people he's trying to kill. And so he's always trying so hard. You know how it is when you're trying to be something you're not, trying to fit in with people. You always got to be the toughest and the roughest and the most down because you're not one of them. Whatever is in them naturally that makes them this way, it ain't in you. You're just a psychopath who hates his own self and people. That's all he is. He ain't no white supremacist. He don't have that gene, whatever that is, that's in white supremacists that makes them inherently whatever the hell that is. He ain't got it. Man, skin color is just a little shade lighter than mine. Evil is all hell. Just evil. Ask anybody who follows this Palestinian situation if they've heard of the Ben-Gvir guy. And immediately you'll see their face turn. Because that's how wicked this man is. It's an awful human being. One of the worst there is. Truly. And from what I understand, he's in grave danger as it pertains to his life. I don't know if there's any truth to that. But, yeah, I don't wish him any well at all. Not at all. I wish for him the same thing he wished for the Palestinians. That's pretty much what I got. So, yeah, but Benjamin Netanyahu, brother, I never heard of that dude. I never heard of him. I'd imagine he had a brother or some family, you know what I mean? But I hear people talk about his son who live in Miami all the time. I ain't never heard them mention a brother. But that's what happened there. He's up out of here, apparently, allegedly. And it may not be true, but it was someone who I've listened to be pretty on par with other things, basically breaking this news. So I'd say that the source is pretty credible. But if it happens not to be true, that's just what I heard. So. But you know, I mean, Israel's getting bombed really hard. That's just what they asked for. From what I understand, they had a power outage last night. It may be permanent, or at least for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, you got the president getting on television, essentially complaining, or not complaining, I don't think that's the right word, but essentially explaining that, you know, a Tomahawk missile that ultimately came down and killed those poor 150 plus girls in Iran. He had to explain why he said that he believed it was Iran who did it. He essentially said that he didn't know as much about it as of yet, which is why he said that. Well, if you don't know that much about something, why would the first thing that comes to mind be something that's completely off the wall, like these people would bomb their own kids? Why would that be what your guess would be? Because any other position he takes is going to leave him and his side looking like child murderers, for which they are. And he said that Iran has Tomahawk missiles, which I don't think anybody thought they had. I don't know that they have them at all. And I heard an excerpt of other things that he said in that same press conference. That man's just running off at the mouth of whatever lies to make his side look good. It don't even matter if they could be fact-checked. He's always exaggerating any damn way. No matter what come out of his mouth, it's always something that's absolutely and utterly false. Just like the people he serves. He's just one of them, essentially. Lie for no reason. Lie even though the lie is easily debunked. You know, he just is an imprint of all the rest of them who behave that way. So I don't know, man. I just don't really understand what the appeal was for other people who are intelligent, who actually supported this man and voted for this man. I never understood what the appeal was. Yet, you know, to me, it seemed like he was untrustworthy since the Apprentice days. He was a sleazeball even when people didn't hate him. Even when people didn't worship him. He seemed pretty damn sleazeballish. Like somebody I wouldn't trust necessarily at all with anything. And so when he went on this presidential campaign, I thought it was a damn joke. I didn't think anybody would support him. And lo and behold, people treated him like he was the damn Pope. That just helped me realize how spiritually bankrupt a good portion of this country actually was. That was when I woke up to realize, damn, a lot of these people are really like, they don't read energy positively at all. They don't. You can sell a lot of these Americans any damn thing, to be honest with you. When you start seeing people that you care for and people that you trusted supporting him and believing in him, you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? I just don't think any of these folks really see him for what he was from the beginning. They never saw it. It's the essence of the devil in the details, because a lot of times I talk about devilish entities. People who engage in evil tend to can't see the evil that they do, the consequences that are so obvious to other people, can't see the characters that are going to eventually turn on them, etc. It's like, yo, man, it was a devilish veil that made it so that people couldn't see that man for what he was. It's a devilish veil. The energy that he engaged in was never any good from the jump. And if people were looking at him through a spiritual lens that was godly, an actual Holy Spirit lens, they would have understood what I understood from the jump, that this man was obviously a sleazeball and could never be trusted. And I'm just watching it in other areas too. Oh, the people who call themselves so spiritually inclined and so holy align with such godless intentions and godless callousness toward humanity. It's like, how you know God but don't know what he wants of you? How do you claim to be so close to God but are so far away from what it is that he would actually expect from us? And it's because a lot of this stuff, as I've mentioned many times when it comes to religion, it's not about God at all for these people. Though they don't realize it, they just raised in a space that teaches them how to align with religion, but not necessarily how to align with the compassion of a Holy Spirit. And the lens to see things for what they are in a lot of cases, they can't see. They were raised in indoctrination, not necessarily an anointing, if that makes any sense. They're not connected to a real living God, but they are connected to the structure of a church or the structure of some type of practice. And so as a result, they look at things through a secular lens without even realizing it. They're treating people horribly. You know, a lot of them, it's funny because they will align with the structure of whatever religion, but because of the callousness in their hearts, they still end up behaving or rather taking on the consequences of being secular, or take on the reputations in the long run of being unholy. It's because what you aligned with in regards to finding yourself holy, and a lot of times did things that were very much unholy. Like shunning people, judging people, you know, isolating and yourself away from people because of their differences. Being fine with people being treated poorly because of their differences, or voting a certain way that sees to it that people get hurt, that you don't align with or who don't line up with you. Vilifying people who don't look like you, of whom you've never met or whom you don't know many of. Those things are godless behaviors. A lot of religious people, by way of their religion, are backed into these godless behaviors. God never wanted you to treat me differently because of my skin color, but because you align with a bunch of people in the church who are going to look at me funny because of my skin color. And this is just me as an example, not necessarily, maybe you do this to gay folks, maybe, you know what I mean, whatever. Because of that, you still end up doing the devil's work in the name of God, just like every other devilish entity that lives in a deception. And just like any other evil entity, you can't see it. You don't know it. or you're so indoctrinated in it that you give yourself a pass for those behaviors. That's to say, if I'm not doing these behaviors, I'm not aligned with that as who's holy. Just because you call it holy don't make it holy. Just like if you call me anti-Semite don't mean that I hate Jews. You can change the definition of a million different words to fit the word, what it is you want to say, and it still doesn't turn away from the energy of what it is that's actual versus what it is that you say. And that's what people are doing with the word holy. Oh, I'm getting these people away from us as to be holy in the process. That doesn't necessarily work, man. Oh, I'm shunning these people. They don't have anything. I'm considering them worthless. I'm going to support that for which is their persecution in the name of religion and call it holy. No. That for which is actually holy is going to tell you to do the opposite of that. Now, you could change the definition of holy all you want. Doesn't take away from the fact that you are not that, as the Lord would define it, for behaving that way. Just like I'm sitting up here listening to this guy on, I don't know what his name, I think it's Hegseth, I believe is his name. Might be Hegseth. I'm not familiar with the guy until very recently. But essentially he was getting on stage saying that everybody but his people was evil. Them people evil, those people evil, these people evil, those people evil. Yeah, by your definition of evil, meaning anything that opposes you, as you do things that the rest of us define as evil. And you're what? Holy? By way of the definition of what it is you're doing in other areas, I'd imagine holy means evil in our language. And evil means holy in yours. So it's to say you're going to align with your definition of evil, but not honestly define the word evil as it is. But more so living what you consider to be holy, which by every definition of the actual word is evil. It's the confusion of the devil. He lives in deceit. He thrives in confusion and utter dishonesty. And so the words and the rhetoric of the enemy is never going to align with the reality of what it is that he puts you through. For that for which is actual. He's going to make it so that you live through failure while proclaiming success and triumph, like Donald's doing. Putting all of us through nonsense for no reason, and then letting the rhetoric come out of his mouth proclaim that all of this is absolutely fine. as if believing his words is going to do any good for the suffering at hand. It's the essence of the devil. He's going to fool those who are dumb enough to believe him and gaslight those of us who aren't. And wear us down with lies that we can easily debunk. And make us feel like we're being belittled and disrespected at every turn. That's why you know it's devilishness, because it always behaves as the devil would intend. And if you understand the devil, then you understand these men. That's what I've been saying on my channel for years now. I try to make that point at least once a video, it seems. And I feel vindicated in everything that I'm seeing, because I've been telling y'all for a long time what it is that we're seeing is evil. I've been telling y'all for a long time that what it is that we've been staring at aligns with the enemy of God in more the ways than one. And I don't know how many people care to listen or anybody paying attention, but the videos are all there. You'll see them all if you look. I've been telling people what these folks would be doing. What it was that I was seeing in real time is they were slaughtering people and lying about it, telling everybody that the people they were hurting were bad guys, and that they were the good guy and should be trusted as they continue to be caught in every lie they tell, basically. Not even cover their tracks well enough for us not to see that they're lying, which is forever with them, absolutely forever with them. And the smug nature that they engage in when confronted with the truth. The way they brush aside people who are upset at their lives and strong enough for the mind to confront them about it. At war with the truth, no matter what it is, no matter what's actual and factual, they are at war with it. And that's why I tell everybody who listens to me to get close to God, to align with His intentions for your life. And we don't know how much longer we have, so if you're going to behave like the enemy, you could be faced with God very soon. This is why you don't act like them. This is why you welcome accountability and align your words with actual fact and try to condition your mind against that for which makes you worse for others. Align yourself with unselfishness to the best of your ability and unlearn nonsense that makes you a villain in somebody else's story. Because you could be in the middle of something and find yourself at glory, so to speak. Many a man lost their life in a moment's time without even realizing that they were in danger. They blinked and they were in front of God, being confronted with all of that they've done. Some died in the midst of sin, thinking they were going to have a good time doing what they were doing. All of a sudden they were in front of Him. And with these people threatening nuclear warfare and having the ability to follow through on such, I would advise all of us to get right by God right now. Because you never know when one of these demons is going to drop a bomb on our heads. You never know when they're going to leave our neighborhoods looking like rubble. And if you think it can't happen, then boy, you ain't been learning much of anything from what's actually going on out here. You ain't learned nothing. If you ain't watching what it's looking like in Israel right now, what it's looked like in Gaza for the last several years, if you ain't been paying attention to either of those circumstances, then you're absolutely going to be floored at how awful it's going to be in the future for you if they have their way with it. But we've already seen now 2 major places in the Middle East reduced to rubble. Not 1, 2. So if we don't understand that these people are interested in using these bombs that they've been working on all this time, they ain't making them bombs for nothing. There's a concept that I've learned to understand about a lot of people who serve in militaries all over the world. They train. And when it gets to a point where the training is so second nature to them, it's enriched in their DNA. And then they find, in a lot of cases, that there is no use for that training. And that they are, in fact, responsible for basically enriching themselves back into common spaces where civilians are, never actually seeing combat. And how unhappy that makes a lot of them. Because they have been trained for combat, but don't actually ever see combat. I'd imagine that psychology is the same for those who make these nuclear warheads. They build these nuclear warheads, do all this incredible stuff. You got warheads, they got shrapnel inside of them that are meant to purposefully amputate upon detonation. And it's not just meant to explode stuff, it's meant to leave you without limbs. I heard about this warhead that Iran created themselves that can get past any missile defense, because in mid-air it can turn into 100 bombs, 100 warheads. They shoot that thing, and halfway to where it's headed, it just shits out 100 nuclear warheads. Excuse my language. Yeah. When you make stuff like that, you want to use it. You want to see what it can do. You don't just make stuff like that and then have it sit in a cellar for the rest of your life, never to be used. And expect the people who made it to be pleased with that. People are manufacturing war because they itch to see what their contraptions can do. Because they're tired of making all of these incredible weapons and having absolutely nobody to kill them with. And I think there's a very strong part of what it is that we're seeing here with that. A very large part of what it is that we're seeing is driven by that bull crap right there. And if they've made nuclear warheads that can decimate an entire planet, they want to see what it can do. And unless the aliens are coming, they ain't got no reason to let that thing off. This is why it's important that all of us get right with God, because they are coming up with all types of stuff that they otherwise, if not for using on us, have absolutely no reason to have. No reason to make that type of weapon. There's no wars going on. If no one's in conflict, if there's no antagonist, if nobody's coming to conquer the land, if nobody's looking to do things that we don't agree with, I would say evil things, but that in the times we're living in, evil has so much support. It's just not the reality of the world we're in today. Get right with God, people. That's basically my point. Get right with God. Because some of these weapons ain't here to do nothing but kill people, and they ain't got nobody to kill but innocent people. The bad guys, the worst of us, are protected within the system of capitalism and politics structure. Nobody would dare harm them because it would collapse the system. The real bad guys have all the money and wealth in the world. So the people that you would otherwise kill with them bombs, they're the ones who have control of them, which makes it even more likely they use them this way. That's the point. It's evil in a lot of places, man, and the moral of the story is, don't let it harbor in your heart, because it's everywhere outside, it seems. That's what I'm here to tell people. There's something else that I've had on my heart for the last couple of days. I don't know how to word it without getting in all the trouble in the world. So I'm just going to speak as clearly as I believe I can get away with, and let the rest just be left up to interpretation. Follow me here. If somebody did to me, or not to me, but to my family and my loved ones, what the Iranian president, the newest Iranian guy, the one who's now taken over, had happened to my family, had to his family rather, what I would want in order to receive peace is for the people who did that to be handed over to me. If there is a solution to all of what it is we're seeing, it's wrapped up in that equation somewhere. I don't think we have to lose a lot of people. Not necessarily. this boots on the ground mission, suicide mission that they're trying to take us on in Iran, that's exactly what it is. It's a suicide mission. They don't have a good chance of us succeeding in that. We're going to lose a lot of soldiers, man. And I got some friends whose kids are joining the military. In fact, I can think of 2 right now. And there's a decent chance they die in this. Decent chance that they get sent over there, they don't make it out at all. There's some loved ones, family members, and offspring. So I feel like I got a little skin in the game. Most of my loved ones who served in my family, they've since retired. They got families. Luckily enough, they missed out on being foot soldiers in this particular mission. My brother served already. He did this already. He's raising his daughter now. I'm assuming that they can't send him nowhere at this point. Too old, hopefully. Uncle's already retired. Grandfather lived and passed. I don't have family members that's doing it. My nephew's already retired, raising his sons. I don't have to worry necessarily about anybody in my family dying in this war. But I do have friends, as I mentioned, whose kids are going to be in this generation of soldiers. Where they'll be stationed, what their roles are, I don't know. But what I'm telling you is this. To save their lives, I think there is a solution. And that solution is found in the equation I described. There are people who Iran is likely going to want. There are people that they are going to want to persecute under their laws for war crimes. The solution is obliging them. That's what keeps us from the worst of all of this. All of it. That's what keeps our kids alive. That's what keeps their kids alive. And I honestly want that for both of our nations. Even though America is long due, the common young man who's joined the military is not who should be taking on the karma or the evil done above him. Absolutely not. The common Iranian should not be fighting that kid, losing their life either. In the name of a government, from what I understand, ain't exactly the greatest themselves. We shouldn't be losing kids to these governments, y'all. Not when the solution is so easily found, in my humble opinion. The problem is, who is going to be able to accomplish that? I don't think our generation, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think our generation of Americans, highly indoctrinated, propagandized Americans, are going to be able to do it. I don't think we can do it. I think it can be done. I just don't think this generation is wired to actually accomplish it. And that's what's unfortunate about it. Maybe a previous generation, maybe future generations, but the one we have right now, the TikTok generation, I don't believe they're going to do that. Now, there are other countries that are doing it. We've seen it done in these times, but I just don't think America's going to do it. I don't think so. And so that's what I'm saying to all of you guys. I want for us to just consider what urgency is found in other nations versus the behavior that we engage in as our government does whatever it's doing right now that affects so many people all over the world, including ourselves. But we watch what our government is doing right now. Are we meeting the urgency as human beings? It's the same thing I said at the beginning of the genocide. Are we meeting the urgency at all? Or are we just too damn docile and too comfortable behaving properly and too trained to do what we need to do to save lives, not only present lives, but future generations? Because I'm telling you, the behavior of these people is going to equate to future wars. The behaviors and the indifference of these evil white supremacists is going to create warfare for generations of people who are babies right now. People who are babies right now. And as callous as we are treating this generation of children, as evil as they've treated, as normalized as the abuse of this generation of children is, it's absolutely understandable that we have a record amount of tyrants, terrorists, abusers, R-worders of the next generation, because we've made it normal to discard of their humanity in ways that we never did to any other generation of children. With this Epstein nonsense, they're the most, in my humble opinion, unsafe generation of kids that I've ever heard of. It's the ones who are babies right now. The ones who are children right now. It's probably the worst time to be a child. Because it's not only being done, but it's common knowledge that it's happening, and nobody's meeting that urgency like we're supposed to. Not like we're supposed to. There was a time, there was a place where people did these things, and villages came and got those people. Whatever it took, in mass unison, they came and got them people. Yeah, they lost people in that process. You're going to definitely lose people in that process. But they came and got people. They outnumbered who was trying to keep it from happening. Mass amounts of human beings overthrew whatever government was allowing for that evil. They grabbed that leader up out of there. They did some old weird medieval stuff to him. You understand what I'm saying? And they were effective in purging that evil out of their country, purging that evil out of their lives, purging that evil out of their kingdom, whatever the case may be. Effective. I don't see anybody, maybe not even myself, who's wired to misbehave with that level of urgency. Misbehave because we're indoctrinated in how to behave and what's acceptable and what's not. We are too brainwashed to be effective. That's what I believe. We're too brainwashed to be effective in that way. We're not strong enough, man enough to do it, to protect our children. We understand that the bad guys are in control. We understand that they're doing all types of weird stuff. We understand that they targeting people like myself who are telling the truth. We understand that they have all these weird practices that they've been practicing for 7,000 to 8,000 years, however long it's been. Sacrificing kids to assaulting them in all types of ways, cannibalizing them in all types of ways. We understand this. And still we just do. As if it's harmless that we don't be effective in that way. As if it's not going to create just significant amount of terror in the future for us not being effective in this way. I'm learning so much about these liars, so much about these different things that they've been doing. And the more we start to realize what's been done to us, the less credibility they hold in trying to keep us in line, behaving as they have, going forward. And the more they continue to be revealed for what it is that they're up to, what it is they believe, all the different lies that they've been telling about who they are versus who they actually are, we've learned. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? That's the question I have for you. The new generations of new people are going to have to severely suffer through the suffering, I guess that's the way to word it, that comes from our obedience and lack of activity toward being effective in purging this evil out of our midst. You know, I asked the military, a lot of y'all very unhappy. Some of y'all gonna do this shit anyway because you're indoctrinated a certain way, because you've been trained to do this, because you swore oath to your country, and even if your country has proven itself to be evil as hell, and you're dying for no damn reason just to uphold the lies told by people who didn't even love themselves enough to cover their asses when they lied. Y'all miserable, but you're still gonna hold that rifle and go touch down in Iran and get your head blown off by Iranian military coming out of caves and shit, climbing off of mountains, dipping behind out of all types of taverns and stuff like that they create for themselves. You ain't got a chance in hell of winning this war. You're going to die for certain for people that you know damn well evil as hell who want to eat children. It is your obedience that's going to cause suffering to the generations in the future. It's because you held the sword that defended the pedos and shot the torpedoes at the innocent people, that they have the leverage, that these demons have the leverage to continue to push forward. If you stop behaving and start using your training for what actually protects your country, these people ain't got a chance to continue this process anymore. That ends it right there. That ends it right there. But like I said, it's a generation that's been trained. We behave too well. We've been trained like dogs. We ain't gonna dare buck any of these people, are we? And as a result of us being that way, whether we have the excuse to continue saying we're that way or not, as a result of us being that way, it may be the end of the damn world. Truly. Now I ask some of y'all. Y'all say y'all believe in God. And you're listening to evil men who proven to be liars, proven to be individuals who are irresponsible enough to underestimate their opponent, irresponsible enough to put people in office that are not even close to qualified. You're going to follow their orders because you're brainwashed? Is that a good enough excuse anymore for our world to go to shit and our children to be left to be eaten by these monsters? Because you've been trained and you can't break the training? Are you sure that's what you want your legacy to be? I just want to ask a lot of y'all, because a lot of y'all are brainwashed, but you also have had the veil lifted from over your eyes. You can now clearly see what's going on here. And yet you're still going to go to war against Iran. You're still going to let them send you to your slaughter. Because united we fight or some shit, right? Like some... That's what I'm saying. Our failure as a generation is going to disgrace us and suffer our children ills beyond our wildest imagination. And some of us are going to be elderly people watching it happen. And that's what I want to say to some of y'all. Some of y'all are going to be elderly people who are going to live through this shit. You're going to live through whatever's coming. And because you're going to live through whatever's coming, you're going to understand how cowardice your obedience actually was. How weak you collectively were. That's what it is that y'all gonna have to suffer through. Some of us gonna be lucky enough to die before we ever learn how disgraced we actually were. But some of you unfortunate bastards gonna see all of this through. You're gonna see every word of what it is I'm talking about come to pass. You're gonna know that I wasn't mistaken here. And know that it was all avoidable. You're gonna know it was all avoidable. And you was too busy behaving the way that they taught you to behave. Too busy worked into the brainwash so thick that you couldn't even see through the situation. Even when you could see through the situation, you couldn't behave with the urgency necessary to save the world, so to speak. And you want to call yourselves warriors. You call yourselves soldiers. You want to say you're serving your country. To ball is essentially what you're doing. You're serving us all a fucking ball. So, that's really what comes to mind for me, man. That's exactly what's on my mind. I asked the Lord to give me the words, you know what I mean, this morning. I don't know if this is what he wanted me to say or not. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm in the most spiritual mindset. I'm really not. But it gets to a point where you just look around and you say, are y'all serious? We just learned all these people doing all these evil things and we ain't meeting the urgency of the moment. Save these kids. I watched a good portion of us stand idle while many of us, of whom you claim you trust, told you that we saw these same people engaged in a genocide where a good portion of the people who were slaughtered happened to be toddlers. You did nothing. Now I'm watching you same individuals have these Epstein's files be revealed to you slowly but surely, like a slow evil rollout, teaching you just how evil these people are. And you're still doing nothing. Now I'm telling you what's happening in Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, and God knows how many other places I'm not even aware of by these same people. And then all the evil that they doing, they plan on genocide in several countries, not just the one they just killed. And I'm watching you same people, fully aware, do nothing. And you wonder why I make videos like this, saying that y'all a bunch of cowards? You wonder why I'm looking at all of y'all saying y'all gonna be the reason a bunch of kids in the future suffer, just like the ones who are suffering right now? And I'm looking at all of y'all and you're just like, well, as long as I'm getting my money. Like y'all really don't care, huh? You really don't, y'all ain't gonna be, you're not gonna meet that urgency. That's what has become clear to me. You're not going to meet that urgency. It's the people who are going to be left behind after you are the casualties that are going to meet the urgency necessary based on the lesson we learned from y'all being murdered by these same individuals. Because you're not going to meet the urgency. You don't care till it hits your doorstep, but when it hits your doorstep, it's too damn late. So who do I believe I'm talking to? Who does this equate to? Who am I actually speaking with? I'm speaking to the people that are going to die at the hands of these murderers. That's who I'm speaking to. You're disgraced. Because in your lifetime, you couldn't do nothing but behave the way these people needed you to behave to continue behaving the way they did, which left all of our kids unsafe, which left all these people in the crosshairs of genocidal maniacs. And so, when they do to you what they do to you, just know that you've been told what it was. Somebody on this earth told you what it was. Because you weren't going to meet the urgency with your lives. So you're going to inspire that urgency with your deaths. Because these people are definitely going to use these warheads. They're not going to let them sit in these little bunkers forever when they got you to kill. That's the point. That is the entire point. And believe me, we're all, a good portion of us are showing how useless we actually are. Useless. In this respect. Useless to God in this respect. Useless to the future in this respect. Useless to one another in this same respect. And obviously useless to the enemy in the same respect. A lot of y'all don't want to do nothing but exactly what you want to do, just like the damn enemy, and are never going to learn to meet urgency. Never. There's not going to be anything that can be revealed to you that's going to make you rise up. There's not going to be anything that is shown to you that's going to make you put at risk all of what it is that you find comfortable. You're not going to put down that money. You ain't going to quit that job. You're not going to risk that freedom. You ain't going to boycott that company. You ain't going to pick up arms unless it's against somebody that looks like me. Because if I happen to do any damn thing, y'all going to point them guns at me. But since those people look like you, you're not going to do anything. You've made it very, very obvious to everyone who surveys you with an open, clear mind that you are going to be useless. Useless to meet the urgency of the moment. To save lives, the present and the future. And so, I don't think you have a future. I don't think so. I think the majority of y'all who are idle in this world, as I told y'all in a previous video many weeks ago, are not going to be here much longer. They ain't going to be here much longer. You don't have a purpose. You're just sitting around watching things happen and behaving like robots. You don't have a purpose. It's no wonder these evil individuals are trying to do away with you and replace you with AI. Because you don't hold any purpose. You're just walking indoctrination and propaganda. Walking poor culture. Pushing forward the same poor culture to future generations. When the world we're in ain't the world they're going to be in any damn way. I believe it's safe to say that the world is tired. The earth itself. Living earth is tired of idle humans who do nothing at all for the preservation of it or the future lives that will walk on it, who hold so much more spiritual purpose than all of us walking around doing nothing right now. We got to move the hell out the way so that resources can be provided to individuals who actually mean something to the damn world. Seriously. And that's essentially what I'm here to share with you guys. That is exactly what I feel in my heart is true. That a lot of us, a good portion of this generation, maybe to no fault of our own, have just been brainwashed into being absolutely and utterly idle. Having no spiritual worth or rather any actual worth. We're just trying to go after whatever we want, engage in whatever little short-term energy, whatever money type isolation type shit we're doing, whatever people are doing, racism, ism this, ism that, lie about this to get away with that, sell people's poison to make myself fat and rich, all of that. While these people are controlling the world in this way, you're useless. That's what I'm essentially here to tell you. Absolutely and utterly useless. And there's a new generation coming, and there ain't gonna be nothing like this at all. At all. They're gonna stand up for what's right. They're gonna lay their lives down for what matters. They're gonna be unselfish enough to help one another, stand for what's right. And when there's an evil in place, in power, they're coming in droves and they're grabbing that evil up out of there and they're gonna do to it what it should be done. That is exactly what they're gonna do. What we're doing is nothing. That's what I'm here to tell y'all. That's exactly what the truth is, man. And I hope somebody's listening so I can save y'all from whatever it is that you are welcoming into your life. Because if we keep acting like we don't have no purpose, believe me, we won't be here much longer. Video 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.